Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And today I thought I'd share with you a little project that I'm making for an event that I'll be attending. And here it is. And it's using a lovely new bundle from the September to December catalogue. Sparkling Snowflakes, this super snowflake topper punch, which hopefully you can see there. And these are the stamp sets, and I know we've had snowflakes before, but this is lovely because you've got the solid ones and the detailed ones. I'm using the detailed ones in this project, but more projects coming up using this. And it's a dinky little box, could be used as a table favour if you wanted to, but this is when we get together as demonstrators, we often make things using products and swaps that we've got samples to share with our customers. Of different things. And one of the other things that me and a particular group of friends I'm with is that we always have sweeties on the table. We actually don't eat that many of them, but traditionally they've always been mawams. So these are the little mawam blocks, which I'm fairly sure you can get all over the place, and it just holds a little packet of those, so you've got a little sweet treat. The box just folds in like this, she says, and just a little, but say you could easily make this. I mean, I'll be making a larger one, as you imagine, for Christmas tables, but I've kind of created my own DSP by stamping. I made a little box, so that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to be making quite a few of these, so I'm going to show you how to make 4 from one sheet of paper. To start off with, then you're going to need a sheet of paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this kind of scoring and cutting as we go along, rather than using smaller bits of card. I'm using just our standard basic white, not the thick, just the ordinary basic white. And this piece is 18 by 28 centimetres. And if you are doing it in inches, you want one that is 7 by 11 centimetres. I will put the scoring information in the description box, so you'll find a little arrow down here on your on YouTube, and that's where if you click on that you get extra, you get a big expanded box which will have everything on it, and I'll put the dimensions for each individual piece. So the individual pieces that you need for each one are 9 by 14 or 3.5 by 5.5, so that means you get 4 from a sheet of A4, hence what I'm saying. And I just went for a very simple colour palette, which is Lost Lagoon, you'll see here. It is Pool Party, which I've got a separate stamp for, and I've got Smoky Slate here as well. I've also got my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I've got a little bit of scrap paper there as well. So let's open these up. And this is just a standard technique to make your own DSP, and there are people who do some beautiful ones out there, and I'm sort of no expert, but this is my version of it. So that's my second one. So I do like to keep them kind of separated out to avoid any difficulties. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm coming in with my Lost Lagoon, and I'm just kind of randomly stamping my my images. I'm then going to come in with my Pool Party, and I will come over the edges, but I'll sort of do that after I've sort of finished stamping. So I want it, because it's a small project, I want it fairly well covered. So I'm just going to come in. Now with Smoky Slate, it is quite dark, so I'm going to stamp off, because I don't want it to kind of over dominate the other images. So you'll see I'm just kind of trying to make sure I've got a bit of each colour in each area. And then, as I say, I shall come in again. Down here as well. So I'm going to come in with some more. And I'm just going to sort of stamp off as well with these. So I'm going to come in and do a... And that just gives you a little bit more of a variation. I go quiet when I do this. It's weird, isn't it, how you sort of get quiet? Well, I do anyway. So I'm just going to see if there's any more spaces I'm going to fill with those. And each one obviously is going to turn out slightly differently, which sometimes can be a little bit frustrating because you get a piece that turns out really well and you think, oh, I want to recreate that. But you just have to just go with the flow. I quite like the sort of stamped off ones as well, so I'm just going to add a few of those in, and perhaps a little bit more of the smoky slate as well. Add a little bit on the edges here that's a little bit blank. So we'll just come in with a bit more, I don't know, our pool party. I like the pool party for filling in because I find that it doesn't sort of dominate it. It gives a really, it's that lovely pretty colour. So I've just got a couple of gaps here, so I'm just wondering whether to come in perhaps with my smoky slate again. We'll just do a... So there we go. So there's our kind of DSP. I'm going to pop that to one side just for a brief moment, and I'm just going to take a small piece while that's sort of drying of Lost Lagoon, and I'm just going to cut that to 2.5 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. And that's going to be my sentiment for the top. And I'm just using the sentiment that comes in with the stamp set. Now, if you will end up with some scraps, you could layer this up on white as well if you wanted to. So say this piece is 2.5 by 2.5 by 4.5. So let's grab a piece that's 4 centimetres by 2, and this is literally just the offcut from where I trimmed down my main sheet of DSP. When I did it the first time, I ended up with a strip, so you could obviously use that for layering up if you wanted to as well. And I'm just going to stamp my For You in there, and then going to come in, actually I'll stamp off with the Lost Lagoon and just add that in there. So as I say, on this one I've layered it up. For my main swaps I'm not going to be layering up because it's just an added sort of little step that I'm probably not going to want to do if I'm doing sort of 40 odd of these. So there's my little stamp. I'm just going to clear the decks down so that I've got space to do my scoring. There we go. So you've now got your piece, which is all stamped. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score on the short edge. And I'm going to line it up at 2 centimetres. Make sure you've got your scoring blade. Score at 7 centimetres. Score at 9 centimetres. I'm going to cut. And I'm going to repeat that. So 2 centimetres, turn 7, or so you could do it 7, both, it would depend on which you prefer. Obviously I don't need to cut because I've already cut it to size. So we're then going to go onto our long edge, and we're now going to be doing our the rest of our scoring. So line it up at 3 centimetres, and on this first one you're just going to score above and below those centre score lines. So you've got 2 score lines here, and you're just scoring above and below at 3 centimetres. The rest of them are at full length, so you're then going to go 5, at 8, at 10, 13, and then at 14 you're going to cut and then repeat. So at 3 centimetres above and below, then 5, 8, 10 and 13, and then you would then repeat that on your second piece. So 3. Now if you're working in inches, you would be scoring at 3/4 and 2 3/4 on the short edge, and on the long edge you're going to be going 1 1/4 above and below, 2, 3 1/8, 3 7/8, and 5 inches. So 3, 5. So back to saying 8, 10, 13, and cut at 14. Right, okay, that's my alarm going off. So just repeat that. So it's really simple scoring, and it's just repetition, but as I say, it just makes it easier to do a big sheet all the way through. Let's turn that off. Right, apologies for that. Okay, so that's your scoring done. Now you've got a pattern on this, so you might find it a little bit difficult to do. So what I would recommend is, and I'll make 2 of these up just to show you. So score your long score lines on the short edge, and then with that little skinny bit, start at that edge, and you're just working all the way up until you get to the top. And obviously that one where you've got the 2 score lines, you're not going to burnish that one. Then we're going to do some trimming, and I'm going to come straight down on that long edge, and on those I just score on those little skinny score lines, and you're going to come at a slight angle because they're going to be a tab. But you'll notice I'm not actually tabbing it on both sides yet. The reason is we're now going to do our punching. So as always, open your punch on the reverse. You're going to fold those 2 side pieces in, feed that in all the way. You'll see right in there, and this is 5 centimetres wide, so you're just going to pop it in all the way and punch down firmly, and that's going to create your little tab at the top. Okay, and then we can carry on trimming. Now I find it easier to work on the plain side now because it's you can just see them more easily, and you're going to tab out, and on the slightly longer sections cut straight. So straight down the side of the long ones, and the little ones are going to be your tabs, like so. Cut away this corner piece, but this second long tab I'm just going to trim off a little bit because that's going to be our tuck in, and it's just easier if it's a little bit smaller. So again, on the very end you're going to angle it very slightly, And you're just going to take that in about, you know, half the width of it. So there you go. So you'll end up with this little box like this. Or from the other side, it might make it easy. There you go. And then quite simply, we're going to fold that up. So you want to fold your 2 small tabs in, and that's where you want your adhesive. So I'm just using my Stampin' Seal here. It's a little box, so seal is quite sufficient for this. And then all you do is just fold that up on each side, lining your square edge up with the back. Your next 2 tabs, pop those in. And there we've got our little box. Pop your little Mawams in there. Fold down. Then we can grab our... You can pop that up on dimensionals if you wanted to. But there we have our little box. So as I have made those in inches, so I know the measurements work in inches. You can do all sorts of fun things. You can put a little thumb tab in on the top edge if you want to. I don't think it's necessary. For what I want, it's not necessary because it just folds in like so. But it's a great little way. I mean, you could pop a pair of earrings in there if you wanted to. If you were gifting, you could add some little mints in there. They'd fit the little Neapolitans. Make a little table favour. Pop people's names on the top. Anyway, there you go. That's my quick and easy little Mawam box project. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. Bye now.